In 1984, Marvel released their first big event that would go on to shape comic book crossovers forever. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. But unless you lived in the UK, you've probably never seen this version before. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Still Only 35 Cents, your regular dose of vintage comics and collectibles. For this one, we're going back to 1984 and exploring Marvel Comics' original Secret Wars series, the comic book that was arguably the blueprint for all modern comic book events today. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell for future videos just like this one. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars launched in 1984, and this iconic 12-issue run was a real turning point and kickstarted Marvel's huge multiple-title-wide crossovers that we see today. Jim Shooter, Marvel's editor-in-chief at the time, had a concept for a big crossover story with all the heroes and villains battling together, based on requests from fans in various letter columns throughout the Marvel books, particularly following the success of the 3-issue run Contest of Champions. Shooter would tease this crossover within the pages of the Marvel-published fan comic Marvel Age, dated February 1984, with the then title Cosmic Champions. At the time, action figure sales were booming, following the wave of Hasbro Star Wars figures in the late 70s, early 80s, and more recently Mattel's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe line, as well as Kenner's DC Superpowers line. Mattel, who had had success with He-Man, seeing Kenner's success with the DC heroes, thought Marvel would be a great licensing opportunity, and so they approached Marvel, striking up a deal where Marvel would create a new comic book series to support and market the toy line. Mattel took Shooter's Cosmic Champions concept and name and ran it through a kids focus group with their marketing research team, which came back with two words that gravitated with them: secret and war. And so very quickly, Cosmic Champions got tossed aside as Mattel's marketing data said Secret Wars would sell more toys.
Secret Wars.
Marvel supervillains are coming.
Secret Wars.
Can the Marvel superheroes stop them?
Marvel supervillains and superheroes figures each sold separately. Here, Doctor Doom and the Doom Platoon, Magneto, Dr. Octopus. There, Captain America and the Champions of Freedom, Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Secret Wars. The secret's out. Dr. Doom and Spider-Man from the Marvel Secret Wars collection. Other figures each sold separately. From Mattel.
Shooter decided to write all 12 issues himself to help avoid clashing with the established writers and maintain consistency through the story, especially with how possessive the Marvel writer teams were of their characters back then. Essentially, Shooter, alongside legendary artist Mike Zeck, who penciled the majority of this iconic run, delivered a literal cosmic sandbox to play in and ordered the creative teams to work with the huge changes to characters that were brought about from the events in Secret Wars. For those new to Secret Wars, prior to the original series, many respective Marvel titles showed heroes and villains exploring two strange structures before being transported against their will to the far reaches of space by the Beyonder, a super powerful cosmic entity. The Beyonder, fascinated by the nature of humanity and the constant conflict between the heroes and villains, declares to both of the groups of heroes and villains separated on their own respective structures that
I am from beyond. Slay your enemies, and all that you desire shall be yours. Nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish.
With that, he creates Battleworld, a bizarre patchwork planet made from bits and pieces of other worlds with structures, weaponry, and technology, including, famously, a whole suburb snatched from Denver, Colorado. Here, the various teams and factions would do battle to win the ultimate prize offered by the Beyonder. As mentioned, Secret Wars would have major ramifications for some of the Marvel characters and teams, and the series explored and explained these changes, including most notably Spider-Man donning his infamous black symbiote suit and She-Hulk replacing the Thing in the Fantastic Four team, among others. But what most people don't know is that alongside the US comic series, Marvel UK also published Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, and as all things Marvel UK, it provided its own unique flavour to the stories. The series debuted as a fortnightly magazine, kicking off on April 27th, 1985, almost a year after the original US series, but was increased to a weekly publication with issue 10 in September 1985 and initially ran for 31 issues. The final issue was published in February 1986 when the series was renamed Secret Wars 2 and continued numbering from 32 in February 1986 before the series due to a close with issue 80 on January 1987. I'll cover this in a future video. This first series reprinted the original 12-part US Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, with each issue divided across 2, 3 and even 5 issues. Each issue featured 2 backup stories, with the early issues featuring Alpha Flight through to issue 19, alongside the 4-issue 1984 Iceman series, serialised as the second backup feature through issue 24. In issue 19, a new original backup strip written and drawn by British creators based on the UK toy line Zoids replaced the Alpha Flight story, and the title changed to Secret Wars featuring Zoids from issue 20 through to issue 26. The series proved tremendously popular and would soon spin off into its own comic book series. Of particular note, when the Iceman series concluded in issue 24, Secret Wars featured a brand new original Amazing Spider-Man story in issue 25, written by Secret Wars writer himself, Jim Shooter, and featured Peter Parker, Spider-Man, fighting a Skrull in a UK TV show, Wide Awake Club, a huge morning TV show at the time. In addition to the main stories, many issues also had a number of original one-page features, including S.H.I.E.L.D. top secret files, which were like Marvel handbook entries on various heroes and villains, as well as mock-ups of Daily Bugle newspaper pages. These would present articles explaining references about the Avengers or X-Men that British readers may not have had exposure to. One notable addition and fan favourite was the humorous feature called The Secret Artist, which featured a shadowy creator sneaking into the Marvel UK offices and drawing grotesque parodies of Marvel characters. Finally, most of the early issues also included free gifts taped to the cover, like stickers or rub-off transfers, or in later issues, pull-out centerfold posters. So, with that, let's get into these books and check out the US-UK series side by side. So to start us off, I thought I'd show you Marvel Age issue 11. This is from February 1984, and this is the first mention of Secret Wars, but with its original title of Cosmic Champions. As you can see here, the Marvel Coming Attractions talks about a lot of the books where the heroes would return from Battleworld and the various changes. For instance, Amazing Spider-Man issue 252, which is listed here. Last issue, Spider-Man mysteriously disappeared. This month he's back and he's glad to be home. And this gives a sense that this is advertising those new previews for those characters. But if you turn to page 6, here we see that preview in Newswatch for the new series called Cosmic Champions, detailing that classic cover by Mike Zeck with the addition of Mr. Fantastic in the background, which is missing from the covers in the most part. But again, this is a great insight to showcase that even in this February date, they were still talking about Cosmic Champions, and the Secret Wars name was not in play at the time. So it's a great little snapshot of pre-Secret Wars. But let's come to the book that launched the whole title. This is Secret Wars issue 1 in the American format, and alongside it, the UK edition. The US edition was released in May 1984, and alongside it you see the Marvel Superhero Secret Wars from Marvel UK, which was released just under a year later in April 1985 in the UK, and you can see the marked difference between the two covers here. Much bigger size magazine format for the UK, with a cracking free gift on the front and a Secret Wars competition within. In the regular book, throughout, you have that classic printer error with the book in terms of the colours, and that's seen throughout, but for the most part it's colour throughout the issue, albeit as mentioned with that introduction of the Beyonder and the classic blue error printing on the two centre pages. As you can see, even with that error, beautifully coloured, beautifully illustrated by Mike Zeck, and story by Jim Shooter. Just a great book and should be in any collection. As I say, alongside it, the UK edition had some marked differences to the US copy. The transfers on the front cover, which traditionally would be peeled off and used, but then also the cracking competition that was usually inserted for the action figures that went along with the Secret Wars issue. And you can see the original insert that came with the Secret Wars book from the UK with a list of all of the Secret Wars figures. Alongside it, very different content, as you can see here. We have the Daily Bugle, which gives a little tale around what happened to the heroes and a bit of history before the story starts. So a really great little way to intro the book, and a marked difference from the original Secret Wars story itself, telling stories around the X-Men, Hulk's background, Riker's runaway, a whole host of different elements, even talking about the mysterious construct that abducts our heroes. So great new addition that didn't come with the US book. Then a War Office Memos specifically created for the UK, and the secret artist that ran within the whole Marvel UK Secret Wars series on and off. As you can see here, the secret artist sneaks into the office, takes a look at the finished art pages, and drafts his own rendition, in this instance, of the mighty Thor, with Hagar the Horrible, a classic newspaper strip character from the UK alongside, and Howard the Duck, no less, on Thor's helmet. So great. Other than that, the book is relatively the same, but on a much bigger format. Not all pages from Marvel UK were colour, and so again you would revert from the colour pages to black and white in certain instances. The story pretty much the same throughout, but as mentioned, on a much grander scale. What's also of note within the issue is your diorama landscape insert of Battleworld, where you could adhere the transfers that were attached free on the front cover. And as you can see, issue 1 matches pretty much to issue 1, alongside some superhero secrets that give background to some of the characters featured in Marvel's Superheroes Secret Wars issue 1, including Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, Lockheed of the X-Men, and Rogue. And there we see a preview for the next issue, and we will come to that very shortly, including that superb free poster and the launch of Alpha Flight. So marked difference in terms of the book, mostly black and white towards the end, and finishes exactly the same way as the Marvel traditional format story. Let's just turn to that. So great to see both of them side by side. Much more glossy paper But again, very similar with a slight change to the title. Prisoners of War versus First Blood. So there's your issue 1 side by side. Issue 2 of the classic Marvel Superheroes US edition. As you can see here with this brilliant Mike Zeck cover with Magneto on the front. Very different when it comes to issue 2 from Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars UK edition with this free Captain America super sticker on the front and a great new piece of art adorning the cover. Very different to the US edition. Let's just take a look inside. As you can see here, again, written by Jim Shooter and art by Mike Zeck. And as you can see, goes on for the usual pages and all in full colour. And as you'll note, the end finishes with the enemy within pages. But what's very different here is, as you can see again, we get free Secret Wars poster and sticker. We have the secret artist once again sneaking into the Marvel UK offices. This time around, an intriguing rendition of Captain America with his Mickey Mouse symbol, his flapping wings, boxing glove, and dustbin shield. What's also great about this is at the time, Nostalgia and Comics, a local comic shop in Birmingham, was hosting the entire creative team of the X-Men. Chris Claremont, Anthony Ascenti, John Romita Jr. and Dan Green. On Thursday afternoon, 23rd of May, 1985. Wish I'd been able to make that. The same team appearing at Forbidden Planet in London the day before. Great to see both of those advertising. And as you can see, the story this time, mostly full colour, reverts back to black and white. But on the interior, still attached, is the aforementioned great poster. Unfortunately, it's attached to the page, so I won't be able to open it. But you will get a sense that those stickers would attach to that page. And great to be able to see. But the story is truncated, but then is followed by a S.H.I.E.L.D. report, this time for Doctor Doom. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. reports would appear in various issues throughout the run, but it's great to see those as well, character profiles throughout the story. And as mentioned, the launch of Alpha Flight as a backup strip within. But as you can see, the issue was spread across 2 issues this time. So to complete issue 2 in Marvel UK, we had issue 3, which featured this sticker of Doctor Doom himself and a variation of the original cover from Secret Wars issue 2 in the US. A little bit broader in terms of the artwork. You get a bigger image and much more dynamic with a different corner box as well. Again, we get the War Office memos and our secret artist. Who is he drawing this time? We get a great image of Mr. Fantastic. Love the I am 4 and the slipping of his toupee. Great to see. Again, launch of Captain Britain Volume 2. And the second half of the Secret Wars issue 2 story throughout. And at the end of it, we get a S.H.I.E.L.D. report on Magneto. Another great profile to educate UK readers on the heroes involved. And Alpha Flight to close us out. So there's your comparison for issue 2 of Secret Wars. We get issue 2 from the US, and then issue 2 and issue 3 from the UK. Issue 3 for the US edition was covered in issue 4 of Marvel Secret Wars from the UK. No free gift this time around. And again, story by Jim Shooter and art by Mike Zeck. Beautifully coloured illustrations throughout. But what difference did we have in the UK edition? Again, no free gift this time around, but we get the secret artist once again, and this time it's the turn of Nightcrawler, bamfing around with various body parts. And again, realizing very different look, larger artwork. But as you can see, the issue's cut in half, so it moves to issue 5 as well, and we'll come to that in a minute. But what's different about this one is we get a Department H security file with a detailed profile of Wolverine. The story for the US edition is completed in Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue 5 from the UK, and again you get one of those super stickers, this time with Magneto. Different colour art using the internal art this time around, no original art. But what you get is secret artist once again, and this time the character is She-Hulk, with Hulk in the background while watching on as she beats up some criminals in a very interesting way. We also get another Daily Bugle update, which gives an update on the Marvel Universe whilst the heroes are in Secret Wars, talking around where the heroes are, Heroes for Hire getting busted, official clearance of new Defenders, and Black Cat leaping in to cover while Spider-Man is missing. At the beginning, we also get the S.H.I.E.L.D. report about the Hulk as well. So again, another great profile. And this was the start of the reader's page as well. Secret messages with art and letters from readers around the UK. Secret Wars issue 4 from the US was covered in issues 6 and 7. We'll start with issue 6 with this very different cover. This featuring Doctor Doom lording over the Thunder God Thor being dead. A great new cover, completely different to issue 4. Within its pages on issue 6, let's just check out. Secret Artist is back. This time we've got characters from Disney's Robin Hood alongside Hawkeye with an interesting Arrow assortment and Preparation H headset. And this time a S.H.I.E.L.D. report on the Molecule Man. But alongside, to complete issue 4 of Secret Wars, is this fabulous cover, emulating that great Bob Layton cover on issue 4, but its own painted cover is on the UK edition with that Wolverine super sticker on the front as well. Another great example of the differences between the Marvel Superheroes book. In these pages again, you get the secret artist. This time it's our favourite Spider-Man in a very interesting pose with a very bizarre looking Spider-Man there, and some images of what readers thought the secret artist looked like. They were awarded £20 prize if you sent a secret artist sketch in, so it's fascinating to see. £20 in those days was a sizable chunk of cash, so a lot of people sent sketches in. And then we get a brand new piece from the private journals of Charles Xavier, and the first one being a profile of Cyclops. And again, great to see these issues recreating the story from Secret Wars and the new secret messages. So next up is Secret Wars issue 5 with this great Bob Layton cover. And as you can see on the internals, it's Jim Shooter and Bob Layton on pencils. But what happened in the UK? So we had issue 8, which features this great new original cover with Galactus and various heroes. And if you turn the page, again, we see the secret artist with Doom Robot and a fabulous rendition of Doctor Doom with Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz, and Toto too. Interesting to see Doctor Doom with a smiley face on his cape, looking just like, or mistaken for, the Tin Man. Pretty hilarious stuff. And as you can see, Bob Layton art and the story reprinted again throughout. Black and white for the most part. It's always fun to see. And in this issue, we get another S.H.I.E.L.D. report, this time with the Wrecker. So there's issue 8, which features the first part of issue 5. And issue 9 has essentially the same cover, but with a border around it and a free sticker of the Enchantress. So again, you can see the difference here in terms of a little bit extra image to play with. Once inside, we get another secret artist. Who is it this time? It's Storm. A very interesting rendition there with Oriova, and a very interesting look, and the north, south, east, west replaced with the X-Men. Fantastic stuff. And as well, on the opposite page, we get another look at the Daily Bugle with the villains vanish, fears grow for missing Playboy industrialist Tony Stark, Doctor Doom slain official, remaining Avengers stay active. So always great that we got these little extras in the mix with the Secret Wars title in the UK. This is followed by another private journal of Professor Charles Xavier. This time it's for Colossus. And we round out the story as before. Bob Layton art throughout. Introducing Zazie. Some ads for Marvel Comics. Secret messages. For detail on the free gift for the next issue. And the Alpha Flight story. So there is issue 5 in the US and the UK. Next up is issue 6 with this fabulous cover by Bob Layton of all the villains featured in Secret Wars. I always wondered why this was not used more thoroughly, just like the original first issue cover, but it's great to see them all together in that dynamic pose, emulating the same one as the heroes. Again, on the internal art, we've got art by Mike Zeck, and of course Jim Shooter on writing duties. But in the UK, that same page was recreated with a free gift on the front. This time a model aeroplane. As you can see here, it's still attached to the cover. And in this one, we get the secret artist. And this time, it's the Wasp. And as you can see, black and white art this time. Again, Mike Zeck on pencils, with some colour interspersed throughout. Great to see this. Secret Wars is announced instead of fortnightly. The magazine switched to weekly, and also introduced the new story Iceman next in Secret Wars 11. And here it is, Secret Wars 11, with a free Spider-Man sticker. Fabulous stuff, and a great new cover of the Lizard and the Wasp. Continuing on, issue 6. And here is the aforementioned Iceman story from the Iceman US miniseries. And Puck returns, and Alpha Flight. So there you have it. Issue 6 featured in Secret Wars UK, issue 10 and issue 11. Issue 7, featuring the first appearance of Spider-Woman, was over 3 issues of Secret Wars. The first one being issue 12, which replicated the same cover with a little bit of additional text throughout. But this issue was notable because it also featured a Zoids comic book strip pullout. Let's have a look inside. As you can see, black and white art of that fabulous Mike Zeck artwork with the introduction of Spider-Woman, before reverting to colour. Some more secret artist images and the aforementioned Iceman story. But here's that Zoids comic book insert. As you can see here, Zoids was a mech type UK toy that featured a lot of monsters, including Zoidzilla. And here is a few of those creatures: Redhorn the Terrible, the aforementioned Zoidzilla, and Mammoth the Destroyer, alongside a host of other toys that were available in the Zoids line. So that's issue 12. It continued across also issue 13 with this fabulous, unique piece of art that was created for the Marvel UK series. And as mentioned, this is now weekly, so they were pumping these things out. On the inside, we see the return of the secret artist. This time, it's a fabulous image of Tony Stark, Iron Man. Perhaps it's even Rhodey in this instance. Not quite sure, but great to see this. I love the brasso in the back. Then we have our Secret Wars story. And a great S.H.I.E.L.D. report on Galactus using that John Byrne artwork there. Our Alpha Flight story with the return of Puck. And the Iceman story. And to close out the reprint of issue 7, we have another piece of original artwork on the front cover here. This is Secret Wars 14. And again, we see the secret artist. This time, a crazy looking Dr. Octopus with some interesting appendages, including a squid and an elephant trunk alongside his usual arms. For this one, we get a Department H security file featuring Puck, as well as the continuing stories of Iceman and, of course, Alpha Flight. So there is issue 7 in a Marvel UK nutshell as well. And here's the money book, folks. This is issue 8 of Marvel Superhero Secret Wars from the US, with the origin of the Spider-Man symbiote suit, later known as Venom. Great iconic cover from Mike Zeck here, and a stunning book which everyone clamours for their collection. It's a great book. But how did this title by Jim Shooter and Mike Zeck turn up in the UK? Well, it was over 3 issues. The first being issue 15 with, again, this new cover art directly for the UK market, with Absorbing Man and Ben Grimm mid-transformation into the Thing. As you can see here, reprinting that title in black and white for the most part. But first up, we get a S.H.I.E.L.D. report on Claw. And as always, story is a mix of colour and black and white, retelling that story, competition, and the Iceman and Alpha Flight stories. So the first part was in issue 15 of Secret Wars. Following up very quickly next week with issue 16, which features Ultron versus the Torch, and this great cover, again by Jay Ridgway here this time, created specifically for the Marvel UK book. On the interiors, we have the return of the secret artist. This time, a great image of the Wrecking Crew. Very interesting stuff. Fascinating to see R2-D2 on the helmet there, and a few other interesting pieces. Secret artist stuff was always interesting to me, seeing these characters in different modes. It's continuing the Secret Wars story. Iceman. And Alpha Flight. But this is the book that you will be looking for if you're looking for the UK version, and look at the comparison between issue 8 from the US series and issue 17 from the UK series. Again, pretty much not much in it, but the size of the 2 books is pretty interesting. A little bit more space and a great focus on that Spidey suit. On the internals, we have secret artist, but no secret artist this time. And we get the classic moment where Spidey gets the symbiote suit. And in this issue, as well as Iceman and Alpha Flight, we get the private journals of Charles Xavier and the X-Men biography of Iceman, Bobby Drake. So there is your Secret Wars 8 and its equivalent issues in the Marvel UK Secret Wars run. And that's much sought after issue 17. Next up, we have Secret Wars issue 9. But what did the 3 issues that Marvel UK printed to coincide with this issue? Well, it starts with issue 18, which features this unique Nightcrawler cover image created specifically for the run. Not much going on in this issue, unfortunately, just the standard reprints and no additional features. So you get the start of that Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck story in that issue 9. Black and white for the most part. Of note, Zoids joins the title in issue 19, and this issue features a free giant colour poster as well. So not much original art going on here, just that picture of the mighty Zoidzilla there, which features in the poster. Again, continuing the Secret Wars story within. But there is the start of the Zoids storyline with someone who looks suspiciously like Dr. Doom here. If we turn over, you can see the giant poster. Unfortunately, again, it's attached, so I won't be removing it. I'll give you some sense of the Zoids poster within and the Secret Wars story, and just Alpha Flight, so Iceman no longer in the book and replaced by Zoids. And to close out issue 9, a recreation of the US cover image there. Note the Secret Wars featuring Zoids trade dress now added to the book. And in here, again, nothing too drastic, just the Zoids story, Alpha Flight, and Secret Wars. Issue 10, we have that classic, iconic Doctor Doom cover by Mike Zeck here. Wonderful stuff. Beautiful Mike Zeck art again on the interiors. Beautiful there. And how was that represented in Marvel UK? Well, it kicked off with issue 21 and this stunning World's End unique artwork created for this book. Again, notice the trade dress, Secret Wars featuring Zoids, but great to see Captain America, Mr. Fantastic and Wolverine skeletons as Galactus's ship lights up. Nothing much on the interior, just the standard reprints, so kicking off that story. You'll notice now that the books are in full colour throughout. And there is our Zoids story alongside Alpha Flight. Oh, the Ice alongside the Iceman story. Issue 22 features a recreation of that Mike Zeck cover from issue 10 in the US. Again, this one doesn't have too much extra in it other than this Zoids profile of the mighty Zoidzilla. And to close out this issue, we've got issue 23 with another brand new cover specifically for Marvel UK. Next is issue 11, penultimate issue of the Secret Wars mini-series. Again, with great art by Mike Zeck throughout. But how did that turn up in the UK? Well, we had issue 24, which recreates the image from the US edition of number 11 with this fabulous Mike Zeck Doom revealing himself to the Secret Wars. And again, you can see the art recreated on a much grander scale. Nothing much else going on in that issue, but this is the one that you want to be hunting out, as this features a brand new exclusive story which was written by Jim Shooter himself. This is issue 25. It's the mid part of the US issue 11, but features a number of elements that have been brought back, such as the Secret Artist in full colour for the first time. And this time you get to see the Enchantress rendition. But the thing that you want to hunt for in this book is not the Zoid story, but the exclusive new story of the Amazing Spider-Man against the Changeling, as mentioned, written by Jim Shooter and art by Barry Kitson and inks by Mark Farmer. This features Peter Parker visiting the Wide Awake Club which was a morning TV show on in the UK on a Saturday mornings, part of the TV AM lineup. Great and interesting to see Jim Shooter writing this short story with Spider-Man in his black suit battling against a Skrull. Fascinating little piece of Marvel UK memorabilia here. And then to close us out, we have another secret artist again, this time in full colour. But who is the victim this time? It's an amazing rendition of the Incredible Hulk all jammed in here. Fabulous book. Again, one of those little known books in the Marvel UK series. So go and grab that if you can for that unique, amazing Spider-Man story written by Jim Shooter himself. And to close out issue 11 from the US, we have issue 26 with this great Christmas-themed cover of Doctor Doom destroying everybody with a Merry Christmas Everyone, based on the classic song by S.H.I.E.L.D. and also a slight weird reference with a different spelling of Slade here. But this one was always a very interesting cover and a very interesting one for a Christmas cover. So there is issue 11 in the Marvel UK Secret Wars books. And to close us out, we have the final issue of Secret Wars. This is issue 12, a double-sized issue, which did feature, for the most part, art by Mike Zeck, but did have guest art from the likes of Arthur Adams and others. You notice the Arthur Adams art here. Obviously, that's a great splash page from Art Adams himself, mixed in with the fabulous Mike Zeck artwork. But as you can imagine, with a double-sized issue, it took 5 issues to complete this in the Marvel UK run, kicking off with issue 27, which reutilises a cover from Fantastic Four this time instead of new unique art. And again, within here, you have the recreation of that Mike Zeck issue alongside Alpha Flight stories and the start of that classic Sasquatch issue. We have issue 28 with this new claw cover, full clown jester or savior. Again, recreating the final issue in the book. Full colour. Great splash page, that one. Once again, Alpha Flight. Throughout. Issue 29 with another new cover, this time with the Hulk and Ultron. Fabulous stuff. Part 3 with that aforementioned double page splash by Mike Zeck and the Arthur Adams artwork recreated again. Awesome stuff. Issue 30 again with another unique cover. Interesting that they didn't use obviously the issue 12 cover previously, as they'd used it on the Christmas issue, so you get a lot more unique artwork here for these issues. Again, you get Ulysses Claw, Doctor Doom and Captain America. In this one, standard reprints, so they're almost at the end of the story here. And we also get Private Journals of Professor Charles Xavier with a biography of Nightcrawler. And the final issue in the Marvel UK Secret Wars run is this cover here, featuring the Thing and all of the heroes from the Secret Wars. All the heroes are going home except one. Can you guess? And in this we get a reprint of the final end of Secret Wars. Love this advert for Transformers as well. Optimus Prime is Rambot. And there is Secret Wars US and UK comparison. I hope you enjoyed it. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Secret Wars series and the differences between the US and the UK editions. What was your favourite memory from this run? And what did you think about the UK versions of this series? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And with that, thanks as always for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next issue. Don't forget to check out other great videos, as well as follow us on Instagram, Facebook and X. We also host a weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mail Call Show, every Monday morning at 7:30 AM Australian Eastern Time. Enough said.